drilled the first well in the Yasuni ITT oil block, one of the most biodiverse and culturally fragile places on the planet. While the first well is not in the territory of isolated indigenous peoples, there are two groups of indigenous people there who have chosen to remain isolated. They have made the decision that they don't want this, and so they live there. It is the first in a series of an estimated 200 wells that are supposed to extend into their territory. Operations that the Ecuadorian Constitution labels crimes of ethnocide. Right now, 60% of the oil from the Ecuadorian Amazon comes to California, comes to these refineries. And we have to fight. We have to fight to ensure that the blood oil never does. And so just a little bit more about Yasuni. It's quite possibly the most diverse place left on Mother Earth's belly. And their traditional prophecies say that as Yasuni can never be drilled. And it's very alarming to me that their traditional prophecies say that if Yasuni is drilled, the fight's over. So we have to remain strong in our hearts. I can't ever in my lifetime feel that the fight is going to be over, because that means that too much, we're going to lose too much. And so things like this, coming to healing walks like this and showing up every place that you can, especially along the refinery corridor, is vital. It is vital for our lives. It is vital for these young people's lives who are here. It is vital for your unborn children and grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. We cannot stop this. And I know that my friends are brokenhearted down there. I know that I just can't even imagine how they feel. And so I want us to put our love for them in the center of this circle, and put every protection that we can imagine for them in the center of this circle, and pray that they have all the resources. They are poor people financially, but rich people with their culture. We put that in the center of this circle, and we send that big bundle of love and protection and gratitude down to them in the Amazon. And we make sure that everything that we can do to help them, that we do. And now I want to introduce Ruth Breach, who works with Rainforest Action Network.
Right on, Penny. And I just also want to echo the gratitude. Like, thank you to the Refinery Walk Healing team and all the work that goes into all the logistics here. And then thank you also to each of you for being here and taking the time out to be present. There's so much going on right now. And so following up this piece on Ecuador, this keep it in the ground is something that we're hearing, and it's reverberating everywhere. But I just want to be clear that this actually started in Ecuador in the indigenous ideas of, like, let's not develop this area. Let's not drill it. Let's not frack it. Let's not mine it. Just leave it alone. So keeping it in the ground. Or our friends in Nigeria that live near Shell with Ken Saro-Wiwa, and for decades they've been saying, keep the coal in the hole, keep the oil in the soil. And that's the spirit of resistance that we're taking into this now national campaign that is popping up everywhere. Some of you may have seen the pictures from March 23rd, standing next to Cherie. Penny was there. It was electric, and it was the people in the Gulf going from resilience to resistance, truly growing in a direct action infrastructure around that space and exerting their rights. No more offshore drilling in the Gulf. No more fracking on public lands in the U.S. No more fracking in our communities. It's time, and it's here. And no more coal. We've made some huge leaps. In January, President Obama froze the coal leasing on public lands. He also took the Atlantic off the table as of March. But the Arctic and the Gulf are still vulnerable. So we have to fight so much harder and being strong like we are today for all those people that are not as strong as us. So that's what I'm here to ask each of you to dig deep and pull hard. For those of us in California and living this lovely life that we do, that we be there, we stand in solidarity with our people all across this country and internationally as well. I have a quick call to action that's coming up. So on 420, in addition to all the amazing herb that's gonna be smoking that day, there's actually, it's culminating because it is the 6th anniversary of the BP Deepwater Horizon drilling disaster. It was the worst drilling. A lot of us probably woke up that moment, if not cried. So what we're seeing though is the resistance that woke up the Gulf. This is people everywhere that are dissatisfied with what's happening. That is a commemoration day. On that same day, ironically enough, there is going to be a hearing about 5 years of additional offshore drilling in Houston. So in Houston, they're holding a rally. On the 18th in New Orleans, they're going to be challenging that 5-year plan. And then also on 420, there's going to be an onshore oil and gas lease sale auctioning off our public lands for as little as $2 an acre to companies like Shell, like BP, like Anadarko. And people in Santa Fe are going to show up there and again, they're going to say no. So it's going to be awesome. This resistance is literally catching fire all over the country. So on 420, I'm asking each of you to call President Obama, call the White House, and tell them to cancel the lease sales. No new leases. We have to keep fossil fuels in the ground if we're going to have a fighting chance about a brighter future. So please do that. I will post this on the Facebook page, and it'll be the call-in link. Spread it around. We were really successful in December during the Paris negotiations. We were able to get a lease sale in DC for the eastern states for fracking canceled during Paris. So we know it's successful. We know people power works, and we can do this. And I just want to close that it is each of us and this hope that we hold in our hearts that we know that it's going to be hard and it's going to be tough and we're going to be really uncomfortable, and that is when we know that stuff is going to happen. So I'm going to say thank you to each of you for holding that hope deep in your heart and knowing that it is possible, and we are doing it. We are fucking some shit up in the most beautiful way.
And with that, where are the staffs? Do you want to say